Hey there everyone, it's Darby RiverBendSurvival again. I am getting ready to get back onto the bare bones basic bushcrafting video as you saw from the opening, the series of those. They were delayed for a long time for a number of reasons, most of them my fault. But before I get into redoing those, I need to do there is a modification that I've made to the bag, and there has been two small changes to the kit that I carry in that bag. The first thing I'm going to do is, after I switch the camera around here, is I'm going to show you the modification to the bag and explain why and where that came from. It is not my idea. I will tell you exactly who I took it from. The second part will be why the two changes to the kit. It doesn't impact the series at all, but you know, being completely upfront at the beginning of it, it's important for me to tell you, yes, I said I was going to use this exact kit, but now I've already changed two things, and I'm going to tell you why I'm changing those two things. Let me get it reset, and I'll be right back with you. Let's get down to basics. Okay, any of you that are been messaging me or asking me about this bare bones series, you already know the bag I'm talking about. This is the East German Rucksack. I think it's actually called an East German Mountain Rucksack or something like that. They call it a rain pattern of some type. I already did a video on the bags. I did a video on using them, converting some of them into panniers for my bike. And then I did the opening. This is going to be the kit for the series video using these bags. One of the things that's great about this bag that I love is it's just a big open pocket inside. One of the things about this bag that I hate is it's just a big open pocket inside. So what I've done is, when this series came out and I was talking about these bags, there was a guy by the name of John Capp. He commented on it and said he'd been looking at these bags. As best I remember, he said he'd been looking at these bags but hadn't gotten them. And then he messaged me and said that he was going to get them. A while back, a couple of weeks ago I guess now, one of my friends said, "Hey, did you see what John did with the bag?" And I said no, and I went to look. And somehow I'd missed the video. He even mentions me in the video. He came up with an awesome idea for these bags. And I wrote him and I told him, I said, I love the idea. I'm going to do it. I've already ordered the parts. I ordered one of the parts that night. And then I got another part later, and I'll explain that here in a second. But now, keeping with the bare bones basic bushcraft, remember these were like $3 a piece, these bags. The part that I put on it was $4.50. So we're not going expensive here or out of our way. This is not the original bag. This is one of the panniers off my bike set. As a matter of fact, it's still full from the trip that me and Kenneth Cram just took. I haven't unpacked it yet. I just put it up here because this obviously has not been modified. I'm going to set the other one up here now. I'll show you what the modification is. I'll show you why I said I bought two things. And then I will show you the way that I mounted it. On the video I saw of John's, he had just put some safety pins in. He may have done it a different way since then, but the last video that I saw of his, he had safety pinned it and was experimenting with it. I came up with a way that I mounted mine. So let's get this one out of the way. Here's my actual bag. As you can see, it now has another bag on it. Same pattern, East German, and what that has done has given me pockets on the outside of the bag. I love it. It was genius on his part. And like I said, he gets all the credit. I will put a link to his video about it down at the bottom here. But by doing this addition to it or adapting it, what I now have is I have 3 individual pockets in the front. As you can see, I can easily fit 2 or 3 Altoid tin kits. There's an Altoid tin right there. Let me see if I got another one laying around. There we go. Here's another Altoid tin. Easily 2 per pocket. So you could put 6 Altoid kits in there. You could put, it's unlimited what you can put in here really, except for size. The things that are in it right now are irrelevant because they won't be staying there most likely. I have my little medical kit, first aid kit, I have my fire kit, and those are out of the original bare bones basic bushcrafting kit. It has a great closure system. It's made out of the same material as the bag itself. It's closed up, it's locked up and ready to go. Now before I show you how I adapted it or how I mounted it, let me explain the 2 things I bought. I will be the first one to admit to you, let me get a chair here. I will be the first one to admit to you that I am not a Cold War era East German military surplus expert. Hopefully some people that are watching this video will know a lot more about it than I do, and they can give you the exact numbers or whatever you're looking for. But when I went online, he mounted an AK-47 pouch, ammo pouch, to his bag. His had a little pocket on one side or both sides, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I was looking for. I could not find it. Give me just a second. The battery's getting ready to run out. Let me switch batteries. That was such bad planning on my part. Just started making the video and didn't even change out the batteries before I did it. Anyway, it's an AK-47 ammo pouch. I'm not an expert on East German gear. So I went online and I ordered the one that I thought was the best deal. And it cost me $19 with free shipping. Call it 20 bucks with free shipping. And I thought that was fairly expensive to buy a $20 item to put on a $3 or $4 bag. But I ordered it because I love this idea so much. 2 days after I ordered it, I was in an Army surplus store in the city close by here, and I was looking at something else. And as I was walking out, I saw an entire basket full of these for $4.50. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me! I paid $4.50 or I paid $20 for a $4.50 item. I wasn't too happy, but I went ahead and bought one, and I'm glad I did now. Because when the one that I ordered came in and I compared them, there's a reason one was $20 and one was $4.50. This is the one that I ordered. As you can see, it is considerably larger. It's 2, maybe 3 times bigger than the $4.50 one. So if somebody, please, if you know, especially John, if you watch this video, in the comments down below, put which bag is the right one to order. Somebody's going to order it online, because this one, obviously, with the system that I put on here that I'll show you in just a second, I can mount this bag to it. It's just going to, half of it's going to hang out below the bag. Not a big deal until you set it down, but I don't need a bag that big. I already have another idea for this one. So that's why I was saying 2 things. I want to make sure everybody understands. If you decide to do this, get the right bag if you order it. So, get this out of the way. Now, John was talking about he was going to sew his. I went with a different system, and it took me a little bit to come up with the system. Right now, inside here, the kit for this bag is the stuff you see sitting in back here, and that's for the last part of this video here when I explain the 2 changes that I made. So right now I just have a little sleeping bag shoved in here so the bag will stand upright, but now we can get it out of the way for the video. Now, as I explained in the video when I got these, I did not get a choice. Nobody gets a choice when you order these from Cheaper Than Dirt, and I don't even know if they even have them anymore. But a few of mine came with this rubber water liner. So naturally, one of them that came with the liner is the one I decided to make into the backpack. That only made sense. So that led me to my problem, my concern. I was concerned about sewing this inside because this bag is waterproof. With this liner in here, you could swim in this thing until the water got into it. I mean, but you could set it in a bathtub up to here, and everything's going to stay perfectly dry inside that rubber bag. I did not want to compromise the rubber bag in here any more than I had to. Now, I've said before in some other videos, I do leatherworking, but I am not a leatherworking expert. And everything I do is with scraps of leather. I buy the bags, scrap bags, at Michael's or wherever, Hobby Lobby. I buy the bags of scraps, and whatever I make out of that stuff. So, what I've come up with for my mounting system is kind of a reverse molly strapping system, I guess would be the best way to put it. So I guess the easiest way to show it is to take it off first. It unsnaps, comes out, and comes out. Now then, when you get these bags, they'll have two metal clips here to clip onto a gun belt, like an Alice belt, kind of almost. I just cut those off because I didn't need the metal clips in there and I didn't need them rubbing into the pack. But it comes with these great straps on it. So what I did was kind of reverse the strapping system. So what I do now, because it'll be easier to show it this way, is I take my first strap, put it here, loop this through it, go through this first piece of leather. Oh, this is so hard to do sideways. Put the second strap under here. And then I have two snaps. And I snap it. Now, this strap will be through here. And this strap will be through here. It's not coming off. Now, when I talked about I did not want to compromise the waterproofness of this bag. Anytime you put a hole in it, you're going to compromise it in some way, shape, or form. But in my thinking, and I could be wrong, but in my thinking and experience, if I put leather, and this is all leather right here, if I did leather and did rivets, the stainless steel rivets, wherever there's a penetration, that is going to seal that hole up pretty much. Certainly from things like rain or things like that. On the inside of the bag, I do not know how I'm going to get the camera to pick this up. I may not be able to. On the inside of the bag is there you can see a little piece of it, is another piece of that black leather. It is this size right here. It runs this full patch in here. So everywhere that a rivet goes through, one of these leather rivets, it is attached to leather on this side, then it goes through the bag, through the liner, through another thick piece of leather on the inside, and it's riveted. So any stress is not pulling on the material, it's pulling on the leather on the inside and the outside. Look, I could probably sit here and grab this thing and rip as hard as I could and get those rivets to break, or rip out the leather right there, but normal use, normal bushcrafting use, normal camping use, you're not going to break that. It's the only way that I could come up with off the top of my head to securely fasten this to the bag and try to retain as much of the waterproofness of the bag as possible by putting, in essence, two gaskets, one on the inside and one on the outside. So far this has worked perfectly. I love this setup. I love the ability of having the extra pockets on the outside, especially for small gear. And like I said, this is all John Capp's idea. He came up with this idea. I got the idea from him for this. I came up with my own mounting system, but this is all his idea to add the bag on the outside. Love the idea. Thanks, John. Now, I'll get this out of the way, and then I will quickly tell you what the 2 changes are to my kit and the reason for it. I'll be right back. One of the great things about YouTube, to me, is when there's interaction between the person making the video and the people watching the video. I love to hear comments. I love to hear feedback. I really love to hear when, oh, I tried this and it worked great, or I hadn't thought of doing this. Because that's the reaction I have when I see a lot of people's videos. About 6 months ago, October, somewhere around October, there was a boy named Larry who got in touch with me through the messenger thing on Facebook, on YouTube, and he said that he's 11, he was 11 then, I don't know when his birthday is, him and his older brother, Frank, who is 13, and their cousin, who they call Boots, I'm sure that's not his Christian name, but they call him Boots, and he's 11 too. They watch my videos. I don't know why, but Larry and Frank are being raised by their grandmother in southeastern Ohio. Larry wrote me and said that they watch my videos, they love my videos. When I said I was going to do this series and I built this kit, they were real excited about this series, and I was happy that, you know, that so many people have responded saying that they were excited about this series, and that's what makes me feel kind of bad that I waited so long to do it. In January, Larry sent me a picture that his grandmother took of him, his brother Frank, and Boots. She had bought all 3 of them this bag. She'd also bought all 3 of them a knife that I used in my videos, and she had bought the stuff, the majority of the stuff, to make the dog bowl cook set. Folks, I can't tell you what that meant to me, that they wanted that stuff so bad that they asked for it for Christmas, and that their grandmother, after having watched the video, she said she typed in, or I'm assuming she's the one that typed in, that she always let the boys know when I had a new video up. I think she's actually the subscriber to my channel. Anyway, and they had said, we want the knife that Darby's using in this video. Look at the bag Darby used in this video. Look at this cook set Darby made in this video. Larry sent me a message a couple of weeks ago that asked if I could make a change to the series before I started it. And the change they wanted me to make is because A, they don't have it and they can't find it. They did not want me, and they don't have the ability, this is them telling me, they don't have the ability to get the flat stainless steel to make a lid. They want to see if I could exchange this cook pot for the dog bowl set. And for any of you that are seeing this and don't know what I'm talking about on the dog bowl set, watch the video called Sir. My video called Sir, and you'll see this set in there. It's a couple of dollars, under $5 to make this set. I said sure. I hadn't started the series yet, so it's not affecting anything. The other thing that they wanted me to change, if possible, was instead of using this generic knife that nobody can find, and that's fine, I was using it because it was a very cheap knife, and it was proven a point. But they asked if instead of using that knife, if I would switch to the one that I did the knife test on, which is the, I can't remember now, Condor Condor Bushman Bush Lore. I think these are $20 or $30, whatever they are. I was a little leery about doing that because it put the price of the kit over $50. The more I thought about it, the more I decided I would do that. And the main reason I decided that I would do that, besides the fact that they asked me, is because this is a carbon steel blade and that's a stainless steel blade. And when I get into flint and steel and those kind of things, I'll need the carbon steel blade anyway. I would have to bring in another knife to show that. So when these videos start, you will now see the addition to the bag with the pouch on the outside that I got from John. And you'll see me using the knife from the 1-year knife test. It's a good knife. It is. I have it on video, the results from it. But once I finish the knife test, I haven't used it again. It went into one of the boxes of knives for no particular reason. And then I've been building my own knife, and I did a video on that, my last knife. So that's the knife I've been carrying. But for this series, I can't. Obviously, trying to keep everything down at $50. Well, I was trying to keep it under $50 for no particular reason, but I can't carry a knife that costs twice as much as the kit should have cost to begin with. But I decided I would go ahead and do this. So, as these videos start to come out in the next week or two, they should start coming out fairly steadily. I'm going to try my level best to stay on target with this series and get this series going and get a bunch of them done. But I do still get distracted sometimes and do other videos. I'm sure it'll continue to happen. Anyway, I want to show everybody the addition to the pack itself and to show the two changes, minor changes that I made to the kit, and explain why I made those changes after I said this would be the kit. And I've already changed 2 things before the first video came out. The reason is because of Larry, Frank, and Boots and their grandmother, or Larry and Frank's grandmother. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoy the series. I hope you like the way the bag was adapted, and get out in the dirt and have some fun. Thanks.